So every morning at about 4:45 a.m., my alarm goes off. And I have it strategically placed across my room, as far away from my bed as possible, so that when it goes off, I have to get out of my bed and groggily walk all the way over to my annoying alarm. And by now, I'm somewhat coherent. And this is when I make my decision. Do I stay awake and pray, or do I slowly slink back to my warm covers and my husband and just a few more minutes of sleep? And what God speaks to me in those moments is, this is what you are created to do, Erica. My name is Erica Willis, and I have been fervently and passionately seeking God's will for my life for over 2 years now by getting up at 5 a.m. and getting on my face in front of God in prayer. And I think that the number one question that I hear from people is, how do you keep doing this? This is so hard. How do you find passion to do this? I mean, how does it not turn into just falling asleep on your carpet while you're praying, or turning snooze button on 20 times until it's really time to get up and you've missed all of your prayer time? So as they talked about passion in prayer, and when we're looking at the fervent book, we have to see some truths about what God says about passion. So how did my passion for prayer finally come? I can tell you this much. When my husband first started doing this, he was the first one who introduced the idea, and he said he was going to be getting up at 5 a.m. to pray. And mind you, he's working a full-time job, going to school full-time, a husband and a father, and also helping launch a new church location in the city that we lived in. And he's telling me he's going to get up and add another thing to our schedule that is already jam-packed. So what I did is I looked at him and I said, oh, yeah, good luck with that, right? So supportive. Don't you love that? And what I found was, every morning while I slept, my husband was awake on his face before God, asking God, what is next for our family? And what I saw it do was awaken something in him that I had never seen in the years that we had been married. So I said, fine, God, I will try 5 a.m., right? Because that's how we really get excited about God, is we begrudgingly, fine, if you're gonna make me, right? So that's what I did. It started out with zero passion. Set my alarm, got up, got on my face, prayed for 5 minutes, and said, oh my gosh, it's only been 5 minutes? I do this for an hour? Are you kidding me? That's insane. Who prays for an hour? I've prayed for like grandma, grandpa, and the kids, and the dog, and that we have food to eat. What else do you pray for, right? So when I got to this place of, God, I can't just stay like this. There's got to be some kind of passion that I can tap into. So what he began to show me was, it wasn't about how hard I was praying. That didn't bring up passion. And it wasn't about how long I was praying. Maybe if I prayed for 2 hours, I would be super passionate about getting up at 5. It wasn't that. And it wasn't like if I had the right playlist, like in my head, I think like if I could wake up, if my alarm was like the eye of the tiger, right? You're like, I can conquer the day. I can do this. You know, you're like thinking in your mind, dun, 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 right? You're like, yeah, prayer time on the carpet, let's go. Like, that's how I feel it would be. And I may have tried it once or twice, but it didn't bring passion. It didn't. And the truth is that we cannot manufacture something that can only be given by God. Jeremiah 24:7, you're going to write it down. You don't have to turn there, it's very quick. But Jeremiah 24:7 says, I will give them a heart to know me. Does it say, we will take from God a heart to know him? Nope. He does what? Gives it. I can't pray harder. I can't pray longer. I can't make my own soundtrack to make it cooler, right? Though it may be cooler. I'm just going to throw that out there. It may be cooler. But it's not something that we can do on our own. So the truth is, if passion is something you can't create, then you got to ask for it. Ask. God, I want passion. I don't want to sit here on my face on the carpet for a whole hour wrecking my brain for relationship, because that is not what you have created me for, God. So give me this elusive passion that you talk about, that I hear people say things about how you move so great in their lives. And I'm sitting here thinking, what about me, God? I would love to have that encounter. What about me? So he tells us we've got to ask. What happened for me is that I shifted my expectancy from what can I do to create passion to what is God going to do in the way that he shows up in my life. So I shifted my focus from me to him. So in the beginning when I said, why isn't it happening? Why aren't I praying enough? Why aren't the things that I'm saying bringing this passion? And saying, okay, God, you give me passion, and I'm going to open my eyes to what you're doing around me. Because before I've been so focused on making it happen myself that I'm completely missing the relationship that God has for me. So the definition of expectancy is a belief that someone will or should achieve something. So originally I'm thinking, I'm going to achieve this passion. I'm going to do something that creates this passion in me. And now I'm saying, okay, God, I expect you to create this passion in me. So when we heard about the role of a woman here a few weeks ago with Paige Henderson speaking to us about how her role is a sniper. So if you missed the talk, it's about how a woman's role in her home is she is standing at a window and she can see at a distance what is coming at her home, at her family, at her life. God gives her the wisdom to see that, and then she takes that and she presents it to her husband if she's married. If not, it gives her the knowledge to be able to rule over her own home if she's a single woman. And with that, she has all authority of everything happening in her home. Well, this got me really excited, right? Because I like to be in charge of things. And so I was able to take that little nugget of information and say, okay, I'm not the head of my household, which I've been fighting for a very long time, but I do have authority over everything that happens in my home. I'm not the head of the family, but I am the head of this house. And if the enemy wants to come against my family, oh, let's play Eye of the Tiger right now. This is my moment, right? So I took that truth and I applied it to my home. And I started walking through every room of my house, declaring God is over this space. God is over this space. And I walked into my kids' rooms and I prayed over my son's pillow that he would sleep well at night because he suffers from extreme nightmares. And I went into my little girl's room and I prayed over both the little beds in her room that God would give her sweet rest and show her love and give her just a fervency to find him as she grows up. And then I made it to my bedroom and the kitchen and down the hallway. And I just said, okay, God, I expect to see you work now. Because how often do we approach prayer and relationship with God without any expectation? Like Hallie was saying, I guess I'll just pray about it. Oh, my kid's waking up with nightmares. All I can do is pray. Right? Because we're not expecting anything to happen. So I prayed over all these things in my home, and I said, okay, God, I want you to show up big. I want you to blow my mind. And he did. My son accepted Christ a few weeks later. He's 7.5. And we prayed over him in bed and kissed him goodnight and prayed for sweet dreams because he never had sweet dreams. And he woke up and came up to me in the morning, and he said, Mom, I had a dream last night, which is typically followed by tears, right? He's smiling. I had a dream last night. I said, you did? Well, that's cool. What was your dream? He said, well, it was me and Dad and you, and there was a snake. And immediately I'm like, oh my gosh, Adam and Eve, there's a snake in the Bible. Where do we go to this, right? This means something. My Holy Spirit ears, because I was expecting something, perked up. Oh, snake, huh? And the three of us were praying in your bedroom last night? Okay, I'm following this. He said, here's the deal, Mom. I was there, and I couldn't see. It was kind of like I was blind. Are we already hearing the spiritual things happening here? It's like I was blind, and the snake was next to me, and it was really scary, and we kept trying to run from it, and we would try and run from it and hide, and me and Dad, he would always find us, and then we'd run somewhere and hide somewhere else, and then he would find us there. And then Dad came, and he killed the snake by stepping on it, and I could see, and then we climbed a mountain together. When I shifted my gaze from God, how can I create passion, to God, Give it to me, and I'm going to sit back and watch what you do. When that happened, my world completely changed. I have seen and heard stories of people being physically healed, marriages being completely brought together again that were left for dead, past the point of death. They were being resurrected. I have seen my husband become a completely different person. I've seen myself become a completely different person. So when we look at our lives with this expectancy to receive passion, Romans 12:11 says, we'll never be lacking in zeal, but keep your spiritual fervor serving the Lord. Stop walking through life expecting table scraps, because that is exactly what you will get. God wants to give you good gifts. When you walk in these doors on Monday nights, Thursday mornings, whenever you come here to serve, walk in saying, God, blow my mind tonight at Bible study. Watch me, God. Watch me be obedient and watch me ask for your passion, and then I'm going to watch you and watch you work. Because since I've started praying that, ladies, Monday nights, I cannot even describe to you what happens behind closed doors when you leave Bible study and people have stayed around for prayer. It's exciting. Like, I show up on Monday nights and I'm like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? And this is exactly what I do. This is not like a reenactment to be excited on stage. Like, that's what I do. What's he gonna do? And I do it at Thursday mornings. And every single time he shows up. So when you lack passion, when you feel like you are going through the motions of prayer, just ask. You can't make it up, but he's gonna give it to you. And then you have a front row seat to see him work. Thanks.